Almost forgot. I can't forget. It's gotta go. I'm back, baby. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ask Uncle Buck. I'm your host, Uncle Buck. You got big buck questions, and I have big buck answers. Season 2, baby, welcome back. It's been a while. It's been, what, almost 6 months, it seems like? Yikes. So, after a hiatus, I've decided it's time to start doing these videos again. Maybe not once a week, maybe more like once every couple of weeks or once a month. And do a longer session, perhaps, and get a little more time with each question, answer more questions, that kind of thing. So, without further ado, first I want to say thanks to everyone who supported the show, even though I'm not on it anymore. And thanks to everyone who was, asking how I was doing and everything. I'm doing great, and life's going good. And I've missed doing this. I really have, and I've missed answering questions from you guys. I've missed you guys. You can find me on the Here's What I Don't Get Discord. I'll put a link in the description down below. But anyway, thanks everyone. And I got to a point where, man, I realized you can take the hat and the shades off of my head, but you can't take them out of my heart. So let's answer some questions, shall we? These came directly from the Here's What I Don't Get Discord. So I'm going to do them in the order in which I received them. The first being from our good buddy, Mononk Pat. So let's see. He says, what do you miss the most? And he means, what do I miss most about doing the show? I'll tell you what I miss the most. It's interaction with the listeners on the social media, on the Discord, which I'm still on the Discord, so I still interact. And I miss hanging out with Tab in his basement. That's a lot of fun. Me and Tab became good buddies during my run of the show. And, it's been very strange. When I stepped away from thinking about things that make me irritated and thinking about things that I don't get, they stopped popping out to me nearly as much. And I'm generally a lot less frustrated individual as I was back a few months ago. But there's some other things that have to do with that. For one, I've lost a bunch of weight, so I have more energy and things don't just drain me and sap me like they used to. I miss interacting with the listeners the most and generating things that people enjoy. I did get a lot of validation out of doing the show. I really did. And I got a lot of validation out of sharing things on social media and then seeing people feedback like, hey, I like this. Hey, I didn't like this. What do you think about this? This is what I think about this topic. And then you get into discussions and you really get to find out about people, and you start to realize that I think at one point we had like 10,000 subscribers to the podcast. And each of those is an individual person. And I've got to interact with individual people and get to know them, and it makes the work more satisfying because you know that you're, in some small way, some little itty bitty way, you're affecting a person's life in a good way, hopefully. And I miss doing that, and I miss that feeling of helping someone out during their day, giving them something to listen to, entertaining them in some way, hopefully making them laugh or saying something positive and encouraging. I miss doing that a whole bunch, which is part of why I've decided I've got to start doing these videos again. I don't know that I can commit to a weekly schedule of trying to be on the show. Tab and Tim have got their own schedule worked out. I've got work hours. I've got kids. Those are part of the reasons that I stepped away from doing the podcast, and those are still there. I've still got a pretty tight schedule. So I don't know that I can go back on the podcast at this point. But I've got to start doing these videos again, man. I've just got to. It kills me not to. From Eric the Red, who would win in a fight? Alex Jones versus Hulk Hogan. That's a good one. I'm going to say, Alex Jones, he's been a buff dude in his life. He worked out. There's pictures of him when he was younger. He's taking all those vitality supplements, which probably don't do anything. Hulk Hogan, he's a big dude. He's a big dude. And that I'll probably put it towards Hulk Hogan. And also, he's got some experience picking people up and throwing them down and doing all sorts of things. And although wrestling is staged, wrestling, I start thinking about Jill Chaco. Anyway, even though wrestling is staged and there's a script and everything, like some of those moves, I'm sure would apply to a real fight. I mean, not all of them. Like, you're not gonna, honest to God, like suplex somebody in a parking lot at Walmart, unlike that time that I really wanted to. But I have to imagine some of that translates to actually being able to put a move on somebody in real life in some way. In some way. So, I'm going to go with Hulk Hogan. Even though he's older, even though he's a little past his prime, he's still such a big dude. There's a gif going around of Hulk Hogan playing a guitar, and it gives you a sense of scale. It was like a little Strat clone or something like that. And I know how big a Stratocaster is. Like, I've dealt with them so many times. I don't think I have one in here. Yeah, I got one over there, but I'm not going to get it. And to see this, it looked like a toy guitar in his hands. It was the best. So, big dude. Big dude. Thank you for the question. Jab Bert. How many channels in a Discord is too many? There's not enough. From Clownsaurus, why do people get away with support animals? Yeah, I get that there are people out there who actually need a support animal. Apparently, they're real good for helping with PTSD. If you're going to have one of those moments where you have an attack coming on and the animal can sense it, kind of help calm you down. Okay, that's fine. Or maybe not. Maybe that's panic attacks. But anyway, animals, support dogs, service dogs, have their purpose. If you're blind, they can help lead you around because they can see when you can't. And I get having those help people around. Like if you legit need a service dog. However, the crux of the matter there is that there are a lot of people out there. A lot of people who somehow finagle their way into, I need a support dog, and then they have like their little teacup chihuahua they take everywhere. Or their pet, just their pet. It's an excuse, they find some excuse to be able to take their pet into Walmart, or into a restaurant, or into wherever, and inflict that animal on everyone else. Now, I'm not a dog guy anyway. I've always been more of a cat guy, and even I'm allergic to both, so it doesn't matter. But I've never been big on being around other people's pets that much. It's like a lot of people feel about other people's kids. It's like, that's your pet. I'm allergic to it. Leave it alone. Leave it at your house. Leave it at your house. Don't inflict that on me in public. People get so angry whenever people bring loud, noisy kids into a restaurant. It's the same way when someone brings an animal into a restaurant. It's like, hey, that doesn't belong here. No matter how well behaved you think it is, if it's your little pookums, get it out. Get it out. It's not for in here. Unless you are someone who visibly and obviously needs a support animal, get it out. Don't bring your dog into the restaurant. I don't want to see your dog in Walmart. I don't want to see you half the time. Honestly, I like just wide open spaces with no one else there. You and your animal go somewhere completely else and stay away, right? Unless you're a veteran, in which case, thank you for your service, and I understand if you need to bring a dog to keep you from flipping out, PTSD, and and if you're blind, I suppose, but they're gonna fix your eyes pretty soon anyway. They're gonna have medicine for that. It's gonna be great. Support animals. Too many people think the rules don't apply to them. That's what it is. That's what bugs me about it. Too many people think the rules don't apply to them. So they find their little workaround to be able to do what it is they want to do, even though they're not supposed to. Even though we've got everyone else obeying the rule, don't bring your dog into Walmart. I harp on Walmart a lot. I like going to Walmart. Don't bring your dog into Walmart. Just don't do it. Well, I want to bring my dog into Walmart, and my dog's better than your dog, and I'm better than you, so I'm going to bring my dog into Walmart, blah, 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 blah. Found your little workaround. You're an idiot. Go away. Go away. You and your dog, go away. I don't want you. Walmart doesn't want you. They get in the way. They have to clean up when your dog pees in the floor. Dogs smell bad, also. Dogs smell really bad to me. Maybe they don't smell bad to you. They smell bad. They're horrific to me. I don't like dogs. Don't get me wrong. Like, if there's a dog around, I'll pet it. Like, I don't want to kill them all. I don't care for dogs. I just don't. And I know that your dog is special. Whoever you are watching this, oh, but my dog is special. Okay, sure. Your dog is special. You can have that. And I'll feel real bad when I run over it. Okay, let's see. From Rage Scholar. Which way of sitting on a bus seat in a subtle way to get your own seat is more infuriating? Sit near the window with the bag on the outside, or just sit on the inside or sit on the outside seat? So you're trying to take up the entire bench on a bus, which I haven't ridden a bus in a long time. And they're trying to keep the whole bench to themselves. Which is more infuriating? If they sit next to the window and put the bag out there where you can't sit on it, or if they just sit out at the edge of the seat and you can't get around them to get to the window seat? I don't know, man. For one, I haven't ridden a bus in a long time, so it's not something that really I have a lot of experience in. Off the top of my head, I would say someone sitting next to the window with their bag in the outside seat. Because if they're just sitting in the outside seat, you can always just step on them and get to the window seat. You can do that. It's ballsy and it requires confrontation, but you can do it. Although, the way I think about things these days, if someone's sitting at the window seat with their bag at the aisle, it's also a lot of fun for me just to, well, it would be if I were in the situation, to walk up and be like, hey, can you move your bag? I want to sit here. And then, see, now they've got to make a choice of, will I oblige this guy and move my bag, or will I try to argue? And if they try to argue with me, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a good discussion about why you and your bag need to go straight out the window instead of sitting next to it. That's something else I've noticed. This is an aside. When someone tells you that there needs to be a discussion about something, have you seen this? We need to have someone will get on Twitter. It never fails. Someone will get on Twitter. We need to have a serious discussion about blank. Okay, for one, chances are there's already a discussion going on about blank, and you just don't like the fact that you haven't won yet, that you haven't convinced everyone, that everyone hasn't bowed down to your wishes. So saying, and also there's this patronizing tone, we need to sit down and have a discussion about blah, 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 blah. We need to have a discussion about race. We need to have a discussion about guns. Yeah, you know what? We're already having those discussions. Fuck you. That's the discussion at this point. You've already heard everything I have to say. I've heard everything you have to say. At this point, we have discussed this. What you want is a discussion where I don't bring forward my side and I just listen to you and capitulate. And all I got to say for that is get bent. I'm done with discussions. I'm so done. Oh, virtue signaling. We need to have a discussion about this. You don't want a discussion. You just want to preach at me. Go blow yourself. Jeez. Oh, man. Now I'm worked up. It's been a minute. It's starting to come back to me. Either way, we're going to have fun yelling at that person on the bus. That's the takeaway. Yell at them. Embarrass them. Shame them. Shame them for being greedy. Or maybe they'll just buck up for themselves and say, hey, I want the whole seat to myself. Go sit somewhere else. If they would own it, in that situation, if I were to confront someone like, hey, your bag is in the way and I want to sit here, and they're like, you know what? I just kind of want the seat to myself. I know that's greedy. Sorry. I would have a lot more respect for that person for coming forward saying, yeah, I'm greedy and it's wrong, but I am it, and sorry. I want this seat for me. Go sit somewhere else. Okay, you know what? Sure. If you're going to own it, I am far more likely to just oblige you. Too many people are not honest enough. They want to have discussions. Discussions are dishonest. I'm getting philosophical. Discussions are dishonest. I got to chew on that. I want to chew on that some more. That's good. I like where that's going. All right, from 9 in the line. What are your thoughts on cities choosing to supply free medicine to stop drug overdosing? I have mixed thoughts about it. For one, I think in a way, it's great because I do think that addiction is a disease. I also think there's an element of choice. You chose to do whatever it was that you got addicted to. You know, you did it. Own it. You did it. If you're adult enough to say, I need help, and someone's willing to help you for free, I'm okay with that. The flip side is those free drugs aren't really free. There's no such thing as a free lunch. And so those drugs have been paid for by tax dollars. Now, if it's in an area where that's been voted on and it's gone through the process and the people of that city have said, we support giving our tax dollars to help people who have overdosed not die from overdose, and that means that community is, at least on paper, in one accord, right? And they want to see it happen, and they're okay with their tax dollars going to that. That's fine. Go right ahead. Now, what I don't like is when someone just arbitrarily decides, hey, this is how this is going to go now, and this is how we're going to spend the money that we took from you, because taxation is definitely theft. If you don't buy this drug for this person, someone's going to come to your house with a gun and put you in jail or shoot you. That's what it always goes back to. Whatever your money's being used for, if it's basically saying, if I don't pay for this thing, someone's going to come to my house and either put me in a place that I don't want to be for a long time, or they're going to shoot me. It's one of the two. That's where the hitch lies. If you agree to help pay for it, that's one thing. Fine. Yeah, whatever. If you don't agree to pay for it, maybe you need to find a new city, or maybe the city did something wrong. I always consider it wrong to take away someone's agency. That's another big philosophical thought. I think removing someone's agency is inherently morally evil. On that same note, she goes on to ask, how do you feel about cities like Philly trying to create legal safe havens for people who do drugs? So, if marijuana is illegal, now marijuana is legal in a lot of places. If heroin is illegal, okay, and you are someone who wants to do heroin, are you able to legally purchase the heroin in this legally safe space? Or do you kind of have to already have your own? If it's against the law, it's against the law. If it's going to be legal in this safe space, I mean, I get like maybe there should be an arena where you can't hurt anybody. There's a discussion to be had there. But if it's going to be legal, then it should just be legal, right? Maybe it should be illegal to have it outside of this area. I don't know. I understand that not everyone feels the same way about drugs. Not everyone feels the way I feel about drugs. I think they're pretty harmful. And I don't think they have too many legitimate uses. The recreational kind, anyway. But, should there be a legal space for you to do it? I guess, but then you're going to end up having to give them free overdose drugs. So, there's that. Drugs are a complicated topic right now, and we spend a lot. Hey, what about all the people who went to jail for drug stuff? Are they going to get out because you get this legal spot for it now? You know, blot all their records out. You probably should. If they went to jail for it being illegal, and all of a sudden it's legal, you got to let them go. You've changed it. You've changed things. And I'm not saying don't change it. I'm just saying it would blow really bad for someone to get arrested one day because they want to do a little bit of heroin, and then the next day it becomes legal. And someone else is doing heroin the same way they just did it, and one's in jail and one's not. Better start thinking about that kind of thing. All right, from Mr. Kill Everything. Cool name, Mr. Kill Everything. Buck, are you a cigar man? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. So, it wasn't all that long ago. I actually tried a couple of cigars. I went to a pretty upscale cigar place in Mooresville. I forget the name of it. And they had all this stuff, and a buddy of mine had recommended Arturo Fuente. So I walked in, and the lady's like, how can I help you? And I was like, hey, how about Arturo Fuente? Because my buddy says so. And she goes, yeah. And I picked up a couple for me and one for him, gave him his. And I wasn't real crazy about the flavor or the aroma. But that could just be the type of cigar I had. So I don't know. I've only had two. And I didn't like the way the smell lingered on me. I didn't like the way I could, even after I brushed my teeth and everything, I could still smell it on my breath. That taste was still in my mouth. I didn't much care for that part. But, like I said, maybe there's a different flavor of cigar that I would enjoy. I don't know. I've never been a tobacco guy. I've never used tobacco. So that was like my first, like, honest use of tobacco, which is, you know, a cigar. You don't inhale it, thank God. But, I mean, like, I felt kind of cool actually sitting there smoking it with a glass of whiskey. That was fun. But as far as the flavor and the aroma, I just didn't much care for that particular cigar that I had. If you've got a cigar you want me to try, hit me up on the Discord. You can mail it to me, and maybe I'll try it. I'm definitely into whiskey. Let's see. Neil Breen 64. Hey, Neil. Buck, was anime a mistake? Yes. Yes, it was. And this coming from a guy who at one point was married to a chick who forced him to watch Inuyasha. Several seasons of Inuyasha. And we would, God, do I want to tell this story and have this out there in the public. And we would sit there with these little bowls with ramen noodle soup, with most of the soup part poured out, and just this bowl of ramen noodles and eating it with chopsticks like a couple of real weebs. I look back on that time in my life and I cringe. Because that's not me and that's not my culture. No, it's not. You know, there's nothing wrong with appreciating other cultures. Some people take it too far. And as far as the actual animes themselves, yeah, there's people that are into it. I think it's a mistake. I think it's a gateway drug. I think that you should have to go to a safe space, a legal safe space in your city, to watch anime. And that there should be drugs available to you afterwards to cure you of your mental illness. From Muddy. Hey, Buck, you've mentioned Chewing the Fat on the show before. Did you watch Still Game? So Chewing the Fat, for those of you who don't know, is it's like a sketch show. Kind of like Saturday Night Live, but without the big format kind of thing. At least what I saw of it. There were a couple of guys that would talk a little bit at the beginning, at the end. But it's mostly just skits, right? And it was Scottish. It was a Scottish show. I'm assuming on the BBC. I saw it on YouTube. Cool show. Of course, instead of Japanese culture, I'm always fascinated with Scottish culture because I am genetically Scottish. Although, for all intents and purposes, I'm just American. And so, trying to seek out my roots, I would seek out things like Scottish music, Scottish TV, but definitely not Scottish political views. So, Chewing the Fat was a really fun show. I liked the skits, The Big Man. Those were really fun. I really enjoyed those skits. Oh, you, fanny balls! So, did I watch Still Game? No, I actually don't even know what it is. I should probably look that up if you're recommending it to me. Hopefully it's also Scottish, because that's what I enjoyed about Chewing the Fat. I honed a lot of my Scottish accent that way. Let's see. Again, from Mr. Kill Everything. Buck, what is your favorite app? That's a good one. Right now, Discord. Because that's where I communicate with a lot of the people who were listeners when I was on the show. And new people who've been listeners since I left the show. Aside from Discord, and the obvious ones like Facebook, I hate Twitter. I use it, but I hate it. There's a solitaire game. I'll show it to you. I've been playing solitaire like a fiend, and I don't know why, but I love it to pieces. I just absolutely can't get enough of it. Solitaire. Boom! Play that for hours. It's the best. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of apps that I use. I like my camera. I like taking pictures of things. Let's see here. From Neil Breen, 64 again. If you weren't married, would you pursue a relationship with Heather, the lovely news girl? No. No, I wouldn't. For one, I cannot in any way imagine a life where I was not married to Aunt Buck. That woman is my heart and soul. She really is. And she's one of the best people I've ever met, and she's got a heart of gold. And she tolerated me putting this show before our family for a long, long time and supported me. And I cannot imagine my life without that woman. I really can't. Or our kids. We have 2 great kids. As far as Heather, if you're not familiar with the lawsuit, you're watching this on YouTube, you stumbled across it. There's a lawsuit going on between a couple of satirists, and one of the characters in the lawsuit is this fictitious reporter named Heather S. And of course, Tab Burt, doing his Mad Cucks character as a parody of the plaintiff, also started doing a parody of Heather S., who doesn't exist. And, or at least, the Heather S. that wrote those emails doesn't exist. And he does, maybe I'm going too far behind the curtain, but there's Heather S. on his news show on Mad Cucks Tonight. And that's me, by the way, announcing R&N at the intro. I just want to go ahead and claim credit for that. That's me going, the Rick Hader News Network! Definitely not fake news! That's me. And I don't want you to think that's anyone else. I want credit for that. I'm in deservement of credit for that. And I think, in a way, I created Mad Cucks news segment. I really did. I don't think it could happen without me. So there's that. Satire. Let's see. Now, putting Heather aside, if Aunt Buck somehow ended up out of the picture, would I ever be in a relationship again? I'm only in my mid to late 30s at this point. I can't imagine spending the rest of my life alone. And I don't think anything's going to happen to her. But she and I have talked about it. If something happened, if she were to die, or she were to finally get tired of me and get gone, would I ever get married again? Probably not. Would I date? Probably. But I've had the great love of my life. And it's Aunt Buck. You, baby. I'm not going to try and rebuild a life with someone else. There's just no way. There's no way. If she finds her way out of my life somehow, she basically takes my heart with her. There's no other way to put it. I was married to some crazy woman before, and whenever me and her divorced, I got all of me back that she took. It took a while. But I became me again. But when I married Aunt Buck, I gave her everything, and she gave me everything. And if she dies, that part of me is going to the grave with her, and I don't get it back, and I can't give it to anyone else. There's no one else to give it to. That part of me is claimed. And I like it that way. I dig it. From Rage Scholar again. Do you own Ghost Hunters yet? No, I do not. So, on the show, the guys mentioned Asylum Films. They have a cheap way of getting publicity in which they'll take a movie that's getting ready to come out or has just come out, and they will release another movie with a similar title and a similar premise, but it's a knockoff. So let's say if they made another Gremlins movie, these guys would come out with like Gremlings or Boogerman or something. I don't know, whatever another word for gremlin is. And then there would be a cheaply made, god-awful movie about whatever it is. So in this case, when Ghostbusters 2016 came out, they put out a movie called Ghost Hunter, or Ghost Hunters, I forget if it's with an S or not. And it's a horror movie that takes place in a haunted house with a serial killer And the dude also has some sort of a weapon that captures ghosts or kills them or something. I haven't watched it. It looks absolutely stupid. I want to watch it, but I haven't yet. Manonk Pat again. Dear Buck, how close to Statesville would a road rage have to be for you to attend? So for those of you who don't know what he means by road rage, Dick Masterson has the Dick Show, and they do live shows out on location in various places. Those are called road rage. Tab Burt, as his character Mad Cucks, has attended at least 2 at this point. And he seems to have a really good time, and I would kill to go to one of these, but I have family obligations, so it's hard for me to get away. It is. And also, I'm desperately poor. Let's not kid ourselves. I'm a very poor person, and it takes money to do these kinds of things. Money and time. And those are things that I have to prioritize to my family. If there was one sufficiently close, like, say, Virginia, Tennessee, South Carolina, maybe even as far as Georgia, I would probably do that. For a night. And I guess I would have to find some way to monetize my presence. Being a minor celebrity character in the Dick Show universe, some people would buy like a hat and shades costume for me, or if I don't know, suggestions. If I do make it to a road rage, what do you want me to sell? What do you want me to bring? If anything. And no, I can't bring what you're thinking. So, let's see here. I would love to attend one, though. There's another one on the East Coast that's not a ridiculously long drive or an airplane flight. I would love to attend one. I would really love to have a good time and meet a lot of you guys. Last question for this one is from our good buddy Sage, who always pops up in the voicemails. Why is it that I have like 12 hours of paperwork and physical exams to apply for a new job? You know, that really, I get where you're coming from there, buddy. I like the cut of your jib. Paperwork has gotten to a point of being ridiculous. People have to quantify and document everything, and God, the red tape just annoys me. Fortunately, I haven't had to apply for a new job in a long time, but it's not even just new jobs. It's everything. If you want to sign up for something online, like anything that is going to involve you spending money, you got to put in your address. You got to put in just about anything. Everything requires your social security number now. Why? I hate that. So much paperwork, insurance, tax information. God almighty, it's miserable. And then if you're doing a job where you have to take a physical test, that blows too. The job I work, we sometimes have to wear respirator masks so we don't breathe dust. And this right here has caused me to fail that test every time. They won't even let me take it. Because any facial hair where the mask is supposed to seal prevents it from sealing so air can get in. So they're like, do you want to shave or do you just want to fail the test? And I'm like, obviously I'm just going to fail the test. Well, why would I shave for you for this mask that I don't even use, actually? Thank you very much. We haven't had to do that one in a long time. We have hearing tests every year. Apparently over the past 10 years, my hearing has actually gotten better. I'm a little weirded out by that one. But for a new job, like what kind of job, Sage, are you applying for? I mean, let's just ask the question. What kind of job are you applying for? Because that sounds like misery to me to have to fill out a bunch of paperwork. I know everyone's got to have all your... Here's another thing that bugs me about applying for a job. And this is part of that 12 hours of paperwork. They want references. We want 3 references, at least, who are not related to you, who you've worked with, and who also happen to have 11 toes. And let's see, we want to know your work history from forever. We want all the jobs you've ever had, which when I was, in my late teens, early 20s, I jumped around jobs all the time. Boink, 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 boink. It was like a pogo stick, me jumping jobs. So that's a lot to fill out. Trying to remember what dates. They want to know what date you started, what date you quit, why you quit, or if you got fired like I did. Why do you need to know? Why do you need to know? It's none of your business. Can I come in here and do this thing you want me to do or not? It doesn't matter where I've been, what I've done, who I am as long as you love me. Oh, God, I can't believe I just did that. Anyway, who cares where I've lived in the past? Who cares why I no longer work at the gas station that I worked at when I was 18 years old? Who cares? It's none of your business. I'll give you my one previous job. That's it. The one I am leaving to come to your job. And why? That's it. And you don't need to know anything about where I've lived prior to where I am now. I don't even really want you knowing where I live or what my phone number is. I just kind of want to show up at your doorstep at 7 a.m. every morning and do my 8 hours and go home. Like, as little interaction between me and my employers as possible. And that's the best timeline. It's never going to happen that way again. Now they want access to your social media. And if you don't have social media, they want you to create a social media that they can go and evaluate. Bitch, what if I don't have a phone? I do, but what if I don't? What if I don't have internet? What if I am destitute and I don't have access to a computer or Facebook or to Twitter or to whatever else dumb social media there is? What if I am morally against it? What if I have religion that tells me that social media is of the devil and I'll go to hell if I open a Facebook account? What then? You gonna force me to do one then? Screw you. You don't need to know anything about my social media. You don't need to know anything about my previous addresses, my job history, except maybe one. You don't need to know anything. I barely want you to know my name. And if you could pay me in cash instead of a bank account, I would like that even more. Basically, as little intrusion into my life as you can possibly have. I sometimes regret when my superiors have my phone number, because then they want to call you and text you and try and tell you things. No, if you want to tell me something, wait till I come to work the following day and tell me to my face. Tell me to my face. Don't send me an email. Don't send me a text. Don't send me anything. Don't call me. Just wait till I show up and say, hey, so-and-so is going to be off work later today. Can you stay? Nope, sure can't. Sorry, bye. That's all there is to it. All right, everyone. That's all the questions I've got, so I'm definitely going to cut it off there. Thank you all so much for tuning in again. This is kicking. I haven't had one of these since the last time I was on the show. Wow. It's been that long. No, actually, I had one with those cigars that I tried. It's been a while. I'm feeling it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This has been Ask Uncle Buck. I've been your host, Uncle Buck. You had big buck questions, and I have those big buck answers. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.